Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Gamer Guardians Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Martinez, the Drunken Guardian. And today we got Kevin Boneless Bones here. What's up, Kevin?
What's going on, guys? Boneless Bones here.
And Danny, the Sober Guardian.
Hey.
This is episode 93 of the podcast. Today we are mainly going to talk about Sony State of Play, but just to get a few smaller things out of the way here. First things first, they revealed Sonic Frontiers, which is a open world Sonic game, I guess kind of like what they were doing with the Kirby game. And I wasn't so impressed with it. They have gameplay footage if anybody has seen it. Because they released it after they had announced the date, and they had like a little cool cinematic ad that people can watch. But afterwards, I think it was IGN or somebody had gameplay footage that you guys could watch, and it was
Rough.
gorgeous, a gorgeous looking game, but it looked like a desolate, like it was like Shadow of the Colossus, how like you have this beautiful landscape, but there's like nothing in it.
Yeah.
It's basically just Sonic running around, grinding rails and ramps and shit like that. And I barely saw any other types of gameplay. Did you guys see any gameplay footage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go first.
I've seen some of the combat in the Sonic game, and it looked, for a Sonic game, it looked very odd. like, I saw him do like a ring around an enemy, and then the enemy started floating, and then he just did like the homing attack to him, and I was like, that's cool and everything. But then there was one instance that I don't know if it was just a glitch or the footage that they decided to use, but Sonic was running upside down in a circle, and I was like, "This is." I feel like this is early, like it's early.
Like,
And if that's in the game,
like he didn't
like
have any momentum. He was just running around.
no, like it's one of the enemies that he's fighting. I don't know what the hell was happening, but they kind of like cut to it, and then you see it in like in a ring. It's like he's running in a straight, like regular, on his back and everything, but it's like he's running in like it's like him looking at you, but just running in a circle upside down. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I had to look at it 3 times to be like, "Oh yeah, he's just running upside down." And I was like, this something going on." But the running aspect of it's a Sonic game. It's going from point A to point B. Some of the monsters I didn't understand it. I thought I was watching Horizon because it's like they're fighting. He's fighting, and I'm like, all right, yeah, Eggman. But I'm like, why do they look like?
Too, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why are you tipping your head, or are you just drinking out of the same bottle as Horizon at this point? The combat looked good. I'm guessing
I didn't even
certain
see
enemies
any combat. I barely saw anything.
Yeah, I watched it.
Not bad.
It
Like
wasn't.
and stuff. Not a lot, but they show.
Oh, speaking of which, is it just me? I could not get past the fact that every time Sonic did any type of spin dash attack, it sounded like the Crash Bandicoot spin. Did anybody hear that at all?
Oh no.
That was so weird to me. I couldn't get past that. That bugged me the most.
They're just using sound bites from other
Yeah,
games.
just from some other game. Like, oh man. Yeah. Danny, sorry. What'd you think?
I thought it was fun. I think it would be an interesting game.
Did you get you got the Kirby game, right?
Yeah,
you said you enjoyed that.
Yeah, but Kirby game you enjoy it for different reasons. You enjoy it for the nostalgia factor, not for anything challenging. It's not a challenging game. If you knew nothing about,
I don't expect Sonic to be challenging either.
I can see that being a little more challenging. I can see you being able to do more combos and more actual moves you can pull out. The Kirby game is very linear. There is no actual
world.
It's not a world that you roam around at all. The car thing and all that is just for show. Just different levels. Have a car that you can do on a level. It's very linear game, very level based. But I don't think. And when I first heard that the Sonic was coming out, I thought they were gonna go towards that route, like the fake world, the fake world thing.
Like cartoony, like more cartoony or animated.
No.
Like the way Kirby is, like the fake open world, where it's not actually open world. It's just
okay.
It's still very linear, but they make it seem as if it's open world.
Yeah.
But it's not. It looks like it's 100% open world, and it's Breath of the Wild. You know, Breath of the Wild has nothing in for miles at a time that you fucking grab. But you know, this you can. I can see them putting more like crazy. You have to do like obstacle courses and stuff like that to get to certain places. You know, they can actually have fun with that. I think
I feel
with
like
the speed
everybody's solution to to revive a franchise is to make it open world all of a sudden. This like
because
it's
it brings that immersiveness into the world. Because if you just do another Sonic game that's just level based, then that's kind of boring. I mean, this levels next level, no storyline. Like this
you could do
cheesy. So you
story
have
and
to,
you could do story with level by level stuff, but I mean, but yes, granted, the level by level stuff can get tedious and boring.
yeah, and this brings more world building aspect to the Sonic world, because they have a whole comic book storyline, everything. You know, all these
Mhm.
fucking crazy characters that I don't think there's an owl in it, but still, um,
Mm.
you know,
I,
I think I think you're gonna like it more than you think. I think
I'm
it's
not playing this game. Not at all. This brings me back to Sonic Dreamcast, and like I couldn't get into that game in the first place either. As good as it pretty much was, but I'm not interested in this game at all. It
I
looks
think
gorgeous. It looks really good, but
yeah.
I don't I need more. I need more than what they showed.
What more do you need?
I don't know. I need. I mean, I like more intricacies with combat and stuff. I really don't like the whole just jumping, dashing on top of stuff. Like that's not.
But that's the thing that's the part that they only showed a little bit, but it seems like it's not just jumping and dashing on top of something and then walking to the next one. It looked like there's actual combos that you can perform, like actual punch kick combos, like punch whatever combos, and then or you like they show the guy run around him and then do a different move. Like he literally did like a 360 around the guy, which pulled out a different ability. So
Mm,
stuff like that is really cool. Like if if that's the only one, yeah, it's lame. But I feel like they showed that for a reason, that they're gonna have multiple type of moves that you're gonna be able to learn and unlock as you progress.
I
You
blame
know,
Elden Ring.
Breath of the Wild style. No,
Blame Elden.
this is a copy of Breath of the Wild. This is 100% Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's definitely
You
Breath of
know,
the Wild story.
I don't know if I would go that far and call it Breath of the Wild just because it's an
yeah.
open world game. Because
No, I think it's
Breath of the Wild
because
had those intricacies of like you could pick up a stick and light it on fire and then burn grass, and then the grass burns the camp, and like you could throw a boulder and then you could freeze it in time, and then like it's all these physics and all these like crazy combinations of ideas and again physics that you could just mess around with and stuff that I'm sure a lot of the developers never thought of, but like this
well, I
game
think that's what's gonna happen with
doesn't
this.
seem
I
like
think there's
that.
gonna be a lot of like interesting running around, speeding, and being able to traverse from one end to the other, and
Yeah,
especially
I
with
mean,
with
yes,
the combat system, look like there's gonna be a lot of like little combos that you're gonna be able to do to like really try to kill. I don't know. It looks to me, it looks a little more interesting. Definitely more interesting than Kirby, and to me, it's gonna be on par with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild at times,
Breath
yeah,
of
you
the
can do a
Wild
lot
is a
of nice
deep
stuff, but
game.
it's very
I don't see this
boring.
as a deep game.
I find Breath of the Wild to be a little not as intricate as I think you're just such a fan of it,
I'm,
of the series.
you say that about everything that I try to defend. Like Breath of the Wild is a very just
It is a
very
very good
deep
game, but
game.
what
Like
deep?
people are still playing it even now, Danny. Like, are we seriously
Well,
gonna argue about that now? Seriously?
people play everything now.
I'm not gonna
Jesus
There's
argue.
people
Christ.
play fucking Mario 1 now. Like that doesn't mean anything.
Oh my god. You don't understand what I mean. People are still breaking the game. People are still figuring out different ways on playing the game. People are still figuring out ways to just skip a lot of things. And I'm not even talking about speedrunners. I'm just talking about people just trying to figure out ways to shortcuts and kill people in certain ways and creative ways and stuff like that. Like there's so much to this sandbox. It's a huge sandbox, I should say that. Not even just an open world. Like there's so much you can do your own way.
Sure, for sure,
Like
sure.
how deep do you need that shit? Like that's not a shallow game at all.
I'm not going to front. I dipped a toe in Breath of the Wild. I ended up 3 months later deep in that game. I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
I would put that on par with it's just as deep as Elden Ring, because just when you thought you're done with the game, there's still so much shit that you can explore. Not to mention there's DLCs as well that adds new stuff as well. New weapons, new items. You get a fucking motorcycle if you wanted to for the DLC. There's hidden temples, there's the collectibles and stuff that you can do. Like I can go on and on and on. There's a lot of secrets
You
in that
can
game.
you can get the powered up Master Sword, which
I
it just
was
shoots a beam.
I was honestly hoping for like a tempered master sword like they did with Link to the Past, where like
Mm.
you had the master sword and then you like take it to like these two little guys or like this one little guy, but you had to find his other friend. And then when you find him, they temper your sword and it turns like into like a it ups the damage and it turns it into like a fire sword. That would have been cool in the game.
Mm. Well, back to the Sonic game.
Yep.
I don't know if I will play it.
Mm.
I'm a big fan when it comes to Sonic, but this one it was just like it was too many like it was too much of a difference from what the Sonic I'm used to. And I know that that's the whole goal, but it was like it looked way too much like something else that I've seen. And I'm like, what the hell happened? Like
Mm.
I am hoping that they actually do the full fledged like open world, and it's not the hub world kind of thing, because
Oh
that would
yeah.
kill the game. That would kill the game instantly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping that it does well. Honestly, it looked amazing. It like really gorgeous. That one instance that I saw that Sonic was doing, like he was running around literally upside down, just like it took me out immediately. But besides that, the game looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But and the homing attack I had an issue with, because I don't know if I noticed it, but when I was watching it, the homing attack looked slower for some reason, and it wasn't like he was slowing it down. It was like it looked slower, I don't know. But that's how I feel about the game, and the most that what how I feel about the game as of right now. When it comes out, I might try it and play it, uh, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Because I'm already disappointed with
Hey,
one game this year.
Danny's just a sucker for open world game.
Kirby's not open.
I actually don't like open world games that much. Sometimes too much, but I like the whole Sonic world. Uh, I like
Mm.
it as new. I like that it's new.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
doing
it's
something
definitely
different
something different.
than the other.
I hope it works out so it'll kind
So
of like
yeah.
revitalize things.
and it's even like the simple mechanics of all the Sonic games, because all the Sonic games are very the same. You
Formulaic.
jump on, yeah,
Yeah.
you go really fast forward and you jump on somebody's head. I mean, they introduced in one of the Sonic games the dash thing where you like homing dash.
Boots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean that.
Yeah, when they do like a homing dash and it like homes them with 3D games, and that was interesting.
Oh, you're talking
And
about light attack.
sure, I'm not sure. Whatever it is, when you turn into a ball and like home on, smack them, instead of like having to jump on the head. And so
Mm-hmm.
much so where like the melee smash version of him has stuff like that in it. Like it
Mm-hmm.
became a new technique of him synonymous for being able to do that. And it's because he was very boring. Like he just jumped on people's head, they explode. And to be able to totally change that and make it look interesting and useful and go about it, he can actually have cool abilities and it makes sense and do a tornado and all this crazy shit. Like that's gonna be fun,
Mm-hmm.
And I think they needed that for Sonic. I think Mario kind of needs that a little bit instead of just jumping on people's heads. And that's what they've done that. That's why they added the hats and all the crazy costumes and stuff like that. But that's their version of trying to bring him up to date and make him more interesting.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I think of Mario in the suit, I'm like, because he is killing people. Does he like skin the suit himself and then put it on, and then he gets the abilities? Because I have questions.
The
Uh,
original game, the original part 2 was supposed to be the fuck. The original part 2 was supposed to be that was gonna transform into animals.
Mm.
Oh, they
That's what the
saved that for
original.
3 then.
Yeah. Well, part what happened was part. Well, they made up the original part two. If you ever look at the history, the original part two, the actual part two that they made that was out and they called it Mario 2, was not
Mhm.
the Dream World
Mm-hmm.
that the Dream game that we all know. It actually was just a regular Mario game that was extremely hard version of the part. That's all it was. It was just a really extremely hard version of it, and it came out only in Japan. And I think they ended up labeling it like the 1.5 edition or whatever later on. But it only came out. It came out as part two, and it came out as its sequel, and it bombed. Everybody like this is just a really hard version. This is not really a sequel. This is silly. So the other game, the Mario Dream World, was a completely different game,
Mm.
and they different character, everything, and they were like, well, let's just use that and put Mario skin on him and say it's a play, it was a dream,
Oh, right.
and we'll use that as a sequel, and then we'll make an actual the sequel after that, part three, and that's when they came up with the ideas.
When he started skinning raccoons.
Yeah, so when he started skinning, but he was originally supposed to transform into the animals, and that was going to be that was part of the
Mm.
sequel. That was part of the sequel that they wanted to do.
Mm.
That he was going to transform into a bunch of different animals, and it wasn't just a raccoon. They had ideas for a whole bunch of different animals,
Yeah, and then
but
that's
they
why.
couldn't. But then the character of Mario became so popular that like, well, you can't lose Mario. You can't just make it a fucking raccoon start flying around. It's just silly. Well, sillier than what it already is.
Yeah.
It's a plumber.
So now he's like, well, let's make it a costume because they're very Japanese, and that's what they did. That's what they ended with. But I find it to be interesting, the whole concept of the history behind it.
There's a lot of
Okay.
crazy history stuff that's like really
You
interesting.
should,
We should
if
we
you
should
see that,
we should
if
do
you
like a
see
whole
that
like
fucking game,
history show, like a fact show or something.
and if you see the game, the actual game that does, if you see the actual part two that they made, it really was like a super hard version of just Mario. That it looked, the colors, everything was exactly the same. It was just,
Instead of
unbeatable.
one Goomba, you get 6, and they all come at you from different angles.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of lying guys. Like, you look at it, like they have footage of it. It's really funny.
You think the
Yeah,
reason that
I get it.
they you think the reason that they made Mario Maker was because of the difficult Mario game, just to like give people the ability to
Yeah.
make the game unnecessarily hard.
You ever seen those videos of people like all they do is play those fucking crazy Mario Maker levels that are super
Mm-hmm.
hard? Where it's like
Hmm.
they throw a shell, they jump on it, they catch it, they fucking like they throw it, catch it, throw it, bounce on it 16 times, the same fucking shell, catch it in
Those
the air,
fucking
throw it up
videos
like
give me anxiety, man. Those it's fucking crazy the like just the how do you say the accuracy and just the reflexes.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
And it's
let,
technique.
let's go on to the next article because we'll do a really quick one with this. I thought it was interesting. Probably not something that I would get for myself, but the Evercade EXP is a new handheld device that is releasing, which is basically a retro. Hey Huertas, how you doing?
Oh,
Uh,
worth it.
it's a retro handheld gaming system. So there's no like memory inside. It's literally you're buying cartridges. You're actually buying a box with a cartridge that actually even has a gaming manual for all the games that are in the cartridge. So one cartridge could have I don't know how many games. Multiple games, pretty much. They're gonna have up to 300 games, pretty much, and they're selling like an elite version, which is pretty much an all black version with a bunch of accessories like a holder and chain and some other things. And then there's a regular gray version that's gonna be 150 bucks. The elite version is 227, I believe it is, from the UK conversion.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was really cool. Like I kind of like the whole idea of still just like believe it or not, like there are young kids who like retro gaming. Like they are strictly retro gamers. So this is a kind of thing, a cool thing to like. We talked about this before about preserving old school video games and stuff like that. So this is just another way for teenagers and kids and stuff to kind of like get into the retro stuff and hopefully hold on to the old dream that we had back then of playing those games. I thought it was cool. What do you guys think?
Um, I didn't actually look at that article. It was the only one I didn't look at.
Hmm?
So I didn't get to look at the article for some reason. I didn't see that at all. Let's see here now. But it's a handheld console that only plays retro games,
Yeah, it's a
like
cartridge based
PlayStation One
game.
or
It's a cartridge retro. Well, shit, retro games, old retro games. What we would consider retro
like
games.
like Nintendo.
Um,
Like what system?
like Atari, yeah, Atari, Nintendo. I doubt it's actual Nintendo stuff. How do you say Nintendo license stuff? But I'm sure there's stuff that was released in Nintendo arcades. Um, yeah, things like that.
It's just
Let me see. Let me see if I can find some examples here of some games. Uh, R Type, The Hunt, Lightning Sword.
what are those games? I don't know what those are.
Genie.
Aren't you guys supposed to know this? Aren't you guys like retro connoisseurs?
Yeah, I don't have a list. I want to look up a list later, I guess. But yeah, bunch of retro stuff. Kevin, what do you think now?
Was radio silent for a reason.
Huh?
I saw no, I said I was radio silent for a reason.
Mm.
I I read the article and I looked at it and I was just like, I don't. I personally am not into like super old school retro games. Like there are a handful that I would play, but like super old like Atari, Nintendo, and all that stuff, it doesn't really catch my fancy. And it's mainly because I'm used to how, let's say, prettier the games came out in like the early 2000s, or more so like from Sonic 1 all the way to like now is what I'm used to. And me considering Sonic 1 a retro game, it's like it's very colorful. And some of the games that I've seen on like from the display, it was like it did not catch my attention. And I was like, to pay $150 for something that I can play retro games when I could just go and grab my Switch and play a retro game,
That's
kind of just
that's
like
what I was thinking
it,
too.
I was like, it kind of defeats the purpose of me spending the money that I did on my Switch to
Yeah.
buy a whole new system that I'm only going to play, what, for like 30, 40 minutes. And then what else took me off of what turned me off from this was that it's a USB charger, like a regular USB charger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if you are going to sell this system, you should like consider that USB Type C would be better for your console because it would charge faster. You'll get more battery life, depending on what it is, and or just more so faster charging because I don't want to be waiting 30, 40 minutes for a system, not even 30, 40 minutes, 3 to 4 hours,
It's
depending on how.
USB C.
No, it's
Oh, you mean?
USB.
Oh, it's USB to USB C. I see what you mean. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm like, I don't like it.
Mm.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not gonna do. That was not the first. That's the first thing I noticed, and that was the first thing that I thought of when I was thinking about this. I guess is it a? Do we consider this a console?
I mean, I
Is it a
consider this
console?
a handheld, and yeah, it's an overpriced handheld at that. Really.
Yeah, I would say maybe like I was saying like two for like the bundle and everything. I was like, that's fine, but like
Yeah.
150, I'm looking
150
at it.
150 is too much for a handheld because like I would probably pay like $50 for the handheld because you're still gonna buy the cartridges as well, which is
And then how much?
how much are
How
the
much
cartridges? $10-20?
Even if
are
it's
they?
$10, it costs too much because it's a retro games like that are meant to really. I mean, they don't really keep you entertainment the way a regular game does nowadays. So it's
Mhm.
Now,
it's almost
again,
like a commodity.
I should mention though, this isn't for people like us because yes, I agree with you. It won't hold our attention, especially us gamers, like us hardcore gamers who are very much into just playing the newest things. But like I said, there is a good group of people who play strictly retro games. They prefer retro games.
But
Yep.
already playing for free.
What do you mean?
If there's a group of people who, if I love retro games and I did nothing but play retro games, then I'm playing it. That's on a laptop, and I didn't have to pay $150 for a game to look like this small little screen. I don't know. It just to me that defeats the purpose when you can get a nice, good emulator, have it on your nice size laptop, and then just play it comfortably.
Well,
I mean, on the retro thing on the go. It's such a weird niche. Like it's
not everyone wants to use an emulator because it still is illegal. Not everyone
but
does want to do those kind of things. Number
but
two,
but
if
again,
I'm not
it's a
gonna,
small
I don't
niche.
want to
It's not.
carry, a laptop with me if I want to play my games on the go.
That's fine because you could bring your Steam Deck.
But yeah, but that is the thing. That is a good point, though. Yes, you could. I guess you could mod the Steam Deck. That would still be an illegal thing to do. But people could
Yeah,
mod the Steam Deck, run emulators on the Steam Deck. But another thing, again, like you mentioned before, Kevin, was the Switch. Like the Switch has retro games as well. Be it, granted, it's still a lot of Nintendo proprietary stuff, but it's still a lot of retro games that you can still play on the go.
yeah. Yeah, but the issue is like, let's say for example, right? It's not a retro game, but I've been crying for this game for so long now. Grab 'em by the Ghoulies. I can't
Hmm.
play that on the Switch. It does not exist a portable version or an emulated version of it. I mean, there's emulators of that game, or you can just buy the I think the Atari collectors thing that came out for like the Xbox One. That it just brings a bunch of games. It looks like a museum. And
Yeah.
that game is there, but there's no company saying like, oh yeah, let's remake this game or whatever. It's one of those games that it's like it's not every game that you would want. Every game that you would want would not be on Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation, and that's the issue
So you got to
not saying
carry
it's illegal.
both of them now. You got to get the
Yeah, you
Switch
got
and the whatever arcade bullshit. Yeah, the other handheld.
exactly. Yeah, you got to bring both just to play the games that you want. And I'm like, I don't, I don't, I would not encourage anyone to emulate games at all because it is illegal. And if you have to get the game, buy the game. Just look for the game. It is not. Some of these games are like easier to find than you think. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
and the issue is that they're catering to the majority and not the individuals, which is they're. I know. I hear sober in the back of my head saying, "But they're a business. They need to do that." I'm like, you are right. So you are
No,
right.
to me, this business model doesn't actually make any sense to me. I mean, you're catering to a very small niche of people who like video games. That's
That's
fine. That's
okay.
cute.
Yeah. Right.
But again, it's just it's not a sustainable. It's not a
Well,
sustainable thing.
that's what we're saying though. Like this is a great device for that niche audience, but it's severely overpriced for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree it's 100% overpriced, and there's no way this can last, and this is gonna fucking disappear and die very soon because it's way too expensive. But I do think one thing is that this probably fucking costs like $1 to make. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Oh, fucking, it probably costs very cheap to make because it's not. They can't be nowhere in hell that's powerful processing behind these fucking old games.
Can
You
I
know,
just
Again,
say
that's why
I
those cheap Chinese, like, not Chinese, but those Nintendo emulator, the Lego Nintendo. That's why they were so popular because they were really cheap to make.
I'm gonna
And
mention right here, since you mentioned it, not that it really matters too much, but since we're talking about like specs or how cheap it is, it's a 1.5 gigahertz processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 4.3-inch screen, 800 by 480 resolution, micro USB, HDMI, yada yada. So so you can hook it up to the TV monitor to
yeah,
play in 720p resolution.
I can't play. That's funny. I can only play 720. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a fucking it's a low res fucking screen, but again, it's probably really cost efficient to make these fucking things. So you sell one, and you sold honestly like 3 or 4
mhm,
components worth. You know.
yeah, you
Versus
know,
like the PlayStation, like PlayStation, Xbox, and a few others like that lose money when they come out because of
They focus more
all
on
the
the
technology.
software, yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Mhm.
software, and this is not gonna. I mean, this could focus on software too, because again, it's the. I mean, I don't know how much the games are, but I can't. I can see it being about $10, and that people, who are retro will buy them. I guess 'cause to get every single one, and
Mhm.
They said that right now
guys.
there's 30 cartridges and 300 games. So
So
you're if
you
they were
gotta
10
the
bucks each, you're spending $300
plus the
for the whole
system
collection.
is $150. It's $150 just to play a fucking old game where I don't know.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna
It's
get
like
this. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it
No, you're
because
not. You just bought a
no.
new Switch, dude.
Listen, financially, I'm drowning, but come holiday season, I'm getting it. just cause. No, because honestly, I don't really care for the retro games, but I would like to have it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those you kind of keep it, you get it in the box after you get it
But
delivered to your house, and then
yeah,
you look at it.
sure. Yeah, you look
Hold
at
on,
it, you put it
hold
on
on.
display or
And it,
something, but wait till that shit drops to like $20 or something.
no,
Get it
Dan,
at a
Dan,
flea
you
market.
no, Dan, you look at it and then you light dynamite and then put it in the box and throw it out your house and let God deal with it. Because I would spend $150. I wouldn't destroy the system, but I would keep it because I would say the gray one looks pretty. It kind of reminds me of the old Game Boy, and I was like, I would just get it for that, but I would never play it. I'm like, why aren't you playing it? I don't like retro games. Spend $300 on a console with its games and the system. It's well, what is it? 450 with the games and everything as of right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'll think about it.
it's a lot of money for no reason for games you don't like.
Yeah.
So
Well, games
Yeah,
you don't like. There are other people who like those games, like I said.
yeah.
But at
I might.
150,
I,
150 is
no,
still too
that's
much.
what I just said, but I
yeah,
can't. It's
yeah,
still
Yeah.
yeah.
So all three of us unanimous. Evercade. Yeah. Fucking drop your price, then maybe we'll talk.
if that was like
No,
$50, it makes if that was $50, it would make sense. And then even if you keep the game at $10 a piece, it'd be like fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I could see people wanting that instead as be a cute thing to give like a niece and nephew or somebody just to say, hey, look, you never play these games. Here's something to play at the spot. But
Mhm,
spend that much fucking money, the amount of money of a console is
Mm-hmm.
just of
Mm.
an actual like modern day console that's evolving. And this is not evolving. This is gonna stay the same. I mean, yeah, yes,
I
not gonna
I
be
I want to see
retro
a
games on it,
list.
but
I want to see a list of what all the games are because there was this one time that
mhm,
I
mhm,
I did one of those what do you call those lottery type of like packages. Like they say like there's a bunch of how like there's like these warehouses that get a lot of stuff that people returned and it
mhm.
just sits there and a lot of the time those warehouses or the companies they sell the entire box like in bulk at like a discount price or something, right?
yeah,
Oh, the
I
random box.
Yeah, the random boxes. So I did that once and I think I paid like $25. Like there are increments, but so I paid just the $25 box and like it had a list of the possible stuff that was on it. And
Sorry,
what
sorry. It's called mystery crates. There you go. There
well
you go.
yeah.
there's different ones all around. I don't know
That's like
what
I
mine
guess
were
the big
called.
term, but yeah.
Yeah. So I did it. I hear my echo. And I got a handheld device. I threw that shit away after a couple months. I had a handheld device, this cheaply made handheld device that had 200 games. And I was like, ooh, cool. It looked like a Game Boy. It looked like a yellow Game Boy.
Mhm.
And I looked through the games because I was excited. I was like, oh, I'm going to play a lot of retro games. It's so cool. And it was a lot of rip-off games that were kind of like the old school retro games that we used to play. Like it was like a fake Pac-Man game. There was a really fake Mario game. There was a really fake R-Type game. What else was there? There was a fake Commando game. What else? It did have Legend of Kage. which is like one of my favorite Nintendo games back in the day, and it actually had it there, so I was excited for that. But like 200 games, just pretty much 150 of them, 175 of them were worthless. It was just like they were just like bootleg, really badly programmed games. So like I wonder, and my point is like I wonder if that's the case with this system and all those retro games. Is that you have a list of 300 games? I bet you more than half of those are stuff you've even like you probably never heard of, or something that's like from it's from freaking Russia or something like that. Like it was made in Russia,
I found
and
the
and
list
it's
again.
just like you just never heard of it, or it's
I,
a ripoff.
no, I found a list of games. It's mostly Atari and Atari collection
Do
games.
you have the list?
Yeah. Toe
Where,
Plant, no fucking clue what that is. IREM, IREM, no idea. Galeco, Jellico, like it's a bunch of fucking games nobody's ever heard of. In
hmm
Television 2, what happened to part 1? Is it in Television? Oh, I remember I think it's a console, whatever. And in Television Collection, Morph Cat Games,
you're
Gremlins
proving my
Collection.
point.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what this is. I think this is a bunch of those crazy games, and it's a bunch of collection of games, which is kind of funny too. There's a few of them,
hmm
so like there's more than one game. So technically, you get more than 30 games within it, but they're all nothing. There's not a single game here that's an actual retro game. Even
You're giving me.
Atari Arcade is like the game that nobody fucking wanted on Atari.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you something? All these
Worms,
games.
there's Worms, Worms collection.
Saint Dragon, Rodland, 64th Street,
What?
P-47, The Phantom Fighter. What are these
What?
games?
What's 64?
Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood. The fuck is that? Pico Mega Cat Studios collection. Like,
No,
My God.
yeah, this is even
You
see. No.
This is this is a lettuce sandwich because there's nothing
they have
in
a
the.
Namco Museum collection, which is
That's
interesting
cool.
because that's Pac-Man and everything. That's the
Yeah.
only one that
I'm
seems.
guessing. Hold on, but that sounds like they're just emulating it from like the PS1 when they had
It
it there.
is. I think that's what it
Oh,
is. I think it's just like an
Oh
emulation
man.
of. Yeah,
so
that's.
you're getting an
He's going.
emulation of an emulator on a disc from a disc.
Okay, that's
Oh
not.
my.
I don't think this is a real console. I think this is one of those
Like the,
DS5 games. You ever seen those consoles where it's get the new GS5 and then
Mm-hmm.
fucking open the box and
Mm-hmm.
it's
Only it's
but
actually
like
being marketed.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
exactly. It's something being marketed. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
picked it up as if it was real because it's because of the
that's all.
cartridges. Like, oh, nostalgic feel of a cartridge in your hand. Oh,
You know, it just this sounds like the Soldier Boy. You remember that console?
mm,
What?
You never heard of the console, the Soldier Boy?
No.
Look it up after the podcast. You'll be amazed. Soldier Boy gaming console.
Like Soldier, like the rapper.
Yeah, like Soldier Boy. Yeah,
Oops, Soldier Boy console?
yeah,
This is not real.
it is. I swear to God, it is.
you got a Soldier Boy that
He basically
Uh,
just added his endorsement to a cheap handheld console, which is based on older hardware.
mm-hmm. That and this one having the revved up specs. I'm like, ooh, this is nice
It's a
to keep it up.
it's a 4-button Game Boy with a what is this? Am I looking at this right?
Yes, yes, you are.
might looking at this right. I don't know how to answer that question for you, buddy.
Yeah, it's a four.
Hey.
I don't even know what I'm looking at because I'm getting so many different pictures. 6-button. It's a 6-button Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I had enough of that. That's ridiculous. All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about right now is the Sony State of Play that aired today, which is
Hey.
June 2nd, 2021, 2022. Wow, 2021. 2022. And I didn't get to see it live because I
Oh,
completely
I did.
forgot. But
Ooh.
yeah, so I dropped the ball with that shit. But I still kept up to date as it was playing. I was keeping up with IGN on YouTube, and they were like posting up all the videos and stuff. And a lot of the stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know what you want to talk about, Kevin. But I
No,
wanna,
no, 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 no.
I
Absolutely
wanna,
not. I don't want to talk about that.
I,
I
I,
know it's. Go
huh?
ahead.
Well, I just
No,
want to
no.
say that I want to talk about just the smaller stuff first. Like I'm sure the stuff that we'll probably go through fairly quickly.
Mhm.
Number one, the first thing, like I wanted to get Danny's impressions more on it as to
As a
why, but
game, there as a small game, I want to go first.
Jesus
I would
Christ, dude,
play. Hold on, I
I
would
wanted to
play.
ask you about Stray.
Oh fuck! Hold on, before we go on Stray,
No,
Stray's a bigger
I'm
game.
gonna ask you
Stray's,
about Stray.
oh no, Stray's a bigger game. Before we go into the this is small, the skating one. Fuck, what was it called?
Oh, roller drone.
Roller Dome. What do you guys think about that? That's a game that I want to play, but not have. Like I just want to go to somebody's house and play that for 2 seconds. It's a
You,
game. Like I don't need this in my life, but I want to try it.
you
It's
know
kind
what?
of funny.
Okay.
I hated the way it looked, but I just want to play aggressive inline with guns.
Okay. So I can answer the question. Though I like how the game looks because it reminds me of two games, and actually three if you because it skates. Jet Set Radio, My Friend Pedro, Tony Hawk. That's what I feel like
I
when I
but
thought
think of
my
it.
friend Pedro too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I get that kind of slow the aim part is,
hmm
but I don't like the way it looks. It looks really
yeah.
cheap
Uh,
almost.
you're
Like
talking about the
definitely
art
no
style.
budget, but the art. I don't like the art of it, and I don't like the style of when you're aiming. But I like the skating parts. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
because when he does like the tricks while skating, it looks cool. But then it is a slow motion cheesy thing, and it looks hard. So
No,
it looks clunky and interesting at the same time. That was my first one that I went like I don't know how to feel about this. I'm very conflicted. It's just like
they looked at it like, "What the fuck do I do here?" He was watching it. He was just like his hands on his head, like, "I don't know what I'm doing here, but I want to play this game and not happen."
it's like looking at porn and an ugly girl and going, I know she's an ugly girl, but
So
I'm
okay, we're moving on.
cool.
Stray. What did you guys
I
think
didn't.
of Stray?
I like it.
We finally got
Uh,
some gameplay on that because it took a longest time. They marketed this game a lot for quite a while, and we kept on seeing a lot of cinematics mostly and a lot of short gameplay stuff. But now we got more information about it. What do you guys think?
uh,
Yeah.
you go
Go ahead.
first.
Dan. No,
No, you
you
go
go
first.
first.
I just finished talking.
No, yours is short. We know what your feelings are, but go ahead.
I think the game should have came out as a PlayStation 5 launch to promote the power of what it's tried to do. I don't think the game was
Mhm.
ready yet, and to me, again, it would have been a great. It would have been a great game, opening game for the PS5.
Mhm.
I feel like
Uh,
it was planned that way because this game was announced the
it doesn't,
year PS5 was supposed to come out.
because to me, it doesn't really look that impressive anymore. You know what I mean?
What do you
Like,
mean graphically?
yeah, it it still
Okay,
looks
but
good. Don't get me. It still
I
looks
mean,
good. Don't get me wrong,
aside from the
but it doesn't.
graphics, though, like, I mean, what do you think of that concept of just you playing as a cat
Again,
going through all that stuff?
I think it's horrible. I think it would have been. I mean, that seems really boring. It's sort of fucking like another walking sim, just different. Um,
Were you watching the same video?
only when I saw them fucking walking.
There's combat.
I mean, there's some combat, but it takes a little bit for him to fucking get the little thing on his backpack. I mean, technically, there's combat in Death Stranding too, but there's not really.
Well, we're talking about this though.
I understand.
So
I
I
only saw
wouldn't
a little
call it
bit
a
of
walking
combat.
sim. If it wasn't impressionable for you, I understand that, but it's definitely not a walking sim. When the game
I mean, even
clearly
the
showed
combat,
other things.
but even the combat is mostly the cat running.
Because he didn't have the strap, my guy. That's why.
He did it like it's not much a different one because the one that I saw only yeah, just the June trailer.
Yeah, it was the cat was just running. I
Cat had
I
the cat has a thing on the bag. The cat's hiding from the guy who's fucking has a thing around him. I mean, I like the world that they have. I think that's a really cool world, but
mhm.
Speaking of which, that for anybody
more than a
who's
cat.
curious what it is that you're playing as this cat, and it's a little bit of platforming, a little combat, a little walking sim, I guess you want to put it. But it's a world full of robots. There aren't any humans there, so I'm actually really kind of curious as to like if going through the game you kind of figure out what happened.
Uh, well, from what I've seen from the trailer, because I watched the entire state of play on YouTube, and I watched it, and I don't think the cat's human either.
Like a robot
Like
too?
yeah, it's like a robot too. Because there's one instance in the trailer that the cat's just sitting there, and you see its eyes, and it's like it looks green like a TV screen, like just like the old
Mm.
school TV the computer, and then
Mm-hmm.
it goes back to like regular like cat eyes, and I was like, that's weird.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
I figured there, I was like, yeah, I don't think the cat's normal either. I think it's something up with that cat. But
That's interesting.
Dan Sober did say that there were we've seen combat, but we didn't see combat from the I would say side of it. We've seen that you can get into fights, but we didn't see like the cat do anything like like the arm that it has is a gun rather than just it being like a talking box or whatever. But that's what I've seen. So like I watched the trailer and I was like, oh yeah, it's cool. I still want to get it. But I don't know. This trailer made me a little bit eerie watching it, but the one before it just made me like excited for it.
It
So
looks. I mean, there's less combat in the one in this one than the one before that they showed. I mean, it shows them just running away.
yeah,
It's 100% running away. I mean, there's a scene where there's like two red like bots that have like a red thing on them, and they're shooting at him, and he's running away from them because they got caught.
yeah.
Like it to me, this is just very stuff oriented game. That's it. It's 100% just
Mm-hmm.
stuff oriented. And if you get caught, you're trying to figure out a way to
You have
run.
some defense
Like
stuff possibly.
you might have like one or two like defense things to try to get away, but ultimately you're not supposed to fight. So again, this is not like cup of tea because this is like a really long, tedious game. The world again, if the game came out when the PlayStation came out, then you would have been like, wow, this is the power of the PlayStation can do. This is this great game. It looked like it's gonna be one motion because there's that much story. Because I mean, there is a little bit, obviously, but it could be one non-stop keep going from one place to the other with no load again and really just show off the power of the PS5.
Hmm.
Now that Elden Ring and all these other fucking games have come out that really show the power of the PS5 already, this is to me it's just a little too late.
Hmm.
This looks like a chill game for me. Like I would play it. I probably wouldn't pay like a whole $60 for it. But being it's probably gonna be $60 just because of how long it's been
Yeah.
out for a while, and because it kind of does look high end. Even though, yeah, I kind of agree it should have been something that was more. Should have came out maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
And I would have been like, oh, this is great. This is fun. I like that. I'm glad that came out during, honestly, it's not a fun part, but the game, the PlayStation game that it came with, that the PlayStation guy, right, the one that you can't fucking uninstall. Um,
Hmm.
if
mm,
that came out, it's almost like as if that came out now. Like if that came out now, all of a sudden, you're like, what the fuck? Why is this coming out? I don't know. To me, it's a little bit on par with that.
yeah, I'll try it. I'll be willing to try it. I don't know if I would pay full price. I'll probably wait a while, and I bet you money. I bet you money. 6 months time at the most. Well, 6 months to a year. It'll probably be either on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So
I guarantee.
I would probably
I
wait,
guess it'd be like that.
but I do
I
want to play
guarantee.
it.
I definitely said that I wanted to play it before, and I still want to play it now. Like it's you're a fucking cat.
Yeah.
Like I played the Untitled Goose Game for hours. Me
Only
being a
reason I,
cat.
only reason I could ever play is my daughter would watch. She loves cats.
Goose Game was
Yeah,
fun. I like Goose Game.
it was.
Yeah.
You get to be a menace, but this
Yeah.
one it's like some of the traversing that he was doing was very interesting. I
Mm.
mean, it's to me, I would say, or maybe to me and Dan, it looks very interesting because of you're actually they're going the whole route of how a cat would traverse from point A to point B. How would the cat get to the building? Like it would go to the pillar, and then like when he jumped on the little, it wasn't a scaffolding, it was like an iron bar. It just moved, and then like he's just chill as shit. He didn't bobble or anything. I was like, that's a cool ass cat. let me play with this cat.
Ninja cat.
Exactly, and it was just so normal to it. So I was like, "Fuck it, let me just go and watch this trailer. I'm gonna just enjoy it." And that was like the first couple of seconds.
So
Yep.
all right. So I wanted to go on to the rest of the list here. Um, this is like a one particular topic with multiple games. They announced a bunch of VR games, and you guys can express yourself with what games that are actually interesting to you or not. Resident Evil
Not
Village, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. There's No Man's Sky as well, and then there's also Jesus Christ.
Resident Evil 4.
Horizon,
Legend.
Call of the Mountain. So that's another VR game. So I think they're pushing PSVR 2 a lot more now. They're releasing a shit ton of stuff like on the release time when the PSVR 2 is coming out. Is this any reason for you guys to get a PSVR finally? Do you think it's something that gonna start to pick up at some point, or is it still just pointless?
I get motion sickness from being on VR, so no.
So no for you.
It's a no for me.
Nah, I'm not big on VR. It's a lot of room. You need, and I feel like I'll just make a mess and hit one like this thing.
It smacked the kids by mistake.
Have you ever seen a video? There's actually a VR video. That's kind
Oh,
of
I've seen lots of videos of people breaking TVs and
no. They were playing like a boxing, like the mom was playing a boxing game, and the
yeah,
dog.
When
yeah.
she
No, I know, but that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
there's videos of people just breaking shit everywhere and hitting, smacking people and falling on their asses and stuff, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. I mean, if you like VR, then I guess check it out. But I don't know. VR is still a fad that there's people still pushing and stuff. I'm waiting for Matrix style VR. I'll get to you on that when that shit comes out one day. Callisto Protocol. Callisto Protocol is. I saw this trailer and all I can think of is Dead Space. Like it is
Me too.
truly,
Yeah.
truly. It's by the former people who did Dead Space. So
Yeah.
this is truly the spiritual successor of Dead Space. It was just absolutely the same to me, which is not a bad thing. So I thought it looked cool and scary and stuff. What did you guys think?
I thought it was Dead Space.
Yeah, I thought it was a Dead Space ripoff. I didn't know a lot of people did Dead Space, so it makes more sense. I was like, oh, what's this Dead
Yeah.
Space? It's interesting. Next.
Yeah, that trailer really had me for a loop. I was like, oh, "This is the remake." I was like, "Collision Protocol, what the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
I
they
can't
announced
do
this
hard.
a while ago. They had a, I mean, it was no gameplay, but it was a
There's no
really
gameplay
short, it was a really short 20-second trailer of some guy in a prison and then like a monster pops out eventually at the end. That was
That's
Callisto Protocol.
Oh, okay, it makes sense. I
Yeah.
did hear about it. Ooh.
You know a game that we were looking forward to, but we don't know what they don't know when it's gonna come out.
What?
What was that? It was that BioShock type looking game.
Atomic Heart.
Atomic
Yeah,
Heart. Yeah. They
that.
I still keep on seeing shit about it. They're still working on that game and
You know
that's
what?
pretty much all I know is that they're still
You know
working on the
why,
game.
right? You know why
What do you mean?
that you're not that it's hard for people to back it now. Russian development.
It's a Russian developer?
Yep.
That makes sense.
So that's why we're like, we'll never know when this game will actually come out.
But this game was announced like 8 years ago or some shit.
Don't
Like
matter. Still a war fucking has happened, and Russia's
this
not
war hasn't
happy
even
with
been
us.
going on a year yet. So like, where the fuck was this game for that whole time?
Yeah, but I think a lot of people backed out of what I heard, are not backing them as much and supporting them. So the
Well, I mean, I get
question
that
of
now. It makes sense
yeah,
now.
yeah. So it's still
So
the game's still in
you still have
development.
another 8 years of explaining to do. Where the fuck was this
I
game?
mean, there are some games that take like 10 years to make. I mean, look at Cyberpunk; it still fucking needed another 3 years. I mean, it just happens sometimes, especially if very complex. Like this doesn't look like a simple game, which is good. I like that it's not simple.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
What else we got is the Resident Evil 4 remake. I was happy for this.
Ooh, baby.
I was happy for this. No gameplay. They just showed a lot of footage and cutscenes, a lot of flashy shit going on and stuff. But fuck, part Resident Evil 2 remake was good. Resident Evil 3 looked good. It was a bit too short for my taste, a little bit more actiony for my taste, but it was still a good game. So Resident Evil 4, I'm looking forward to. What do you guys think?
You go first, because I don't really have much of an opinion. I don't really care for the Resident Evil series remakes anymore. I mean, I like them. I think they're really cool. And played part two. I think it's the only one I really played. Maybe part two is the only one I
The
really played.
remake?
And, yeah.
Mm.
And again, I just don't do horror too much anymore. And
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm talking to. I
It's
just
fun,
forgot. I'm talking to the two pussies in this podcast right now. The two
yeah,
people
I
who
just
What
I,
don't,
what?
who
I
don't,
really just
who
don't
don't play
horror
horror
games anymore.
games.
What?
You
I
heard
appreciate
me.
again. I
I
appreciate
played
the
fucking
remakes.
Village.
You said
I,
so yourself that you get scared of horror games.
Yeah, but I still fucking enjoy them.
again,
I
I
said,
appreciate what it is. It's just, will I play it? No.
No.
Do I look at it and be like, oh, this is cool? Do I like this more than the Village game? Yeah, for me.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But like, if I was into it still, I'd be like, oh, this is awesome, and I'd be more excited for this than I would be the Village, because I
hmm
think, especially this one, because this one, like, I remember playing this, and it was just phenomenal. You know, when we first played it, it brought Resident back to life.
I think we played it on the
So
GameCube, didn't we? When you had it on
Yeah.
the GameCube.
I didn't have a GameCube.
Wait,
You keep
what?
saying
Never
that.
had a
I've never had a GameCube.
never had a game cast.
Never had a Dreamcast either.
You had a GameCube, Danny. We played Eternal Darkness at
I
your
know you keep
house.
saying that. I've also never played Eternal Darkness. So. I've
What the
seen footage
fuck
of Eternal
reality
Darkness.
have I been living?
I know you say that more than once, and I have to correct you every time. But
Yo, Dan's
that
gonna
I've never
just
played
kill us.
Eternal Darkness, and I've seen the footage of it. I know what it is. I've never played it.
Dan,
And I never had a GameCube. I know the consoles I have.
Dan,
But I've
is
had
it
a
the
64. I have a 64, and then a PlayStation, and then I stuck with PlayStation for the longest time.
okay? So can I ask this question to Drunk? Uh, is it Berenstein Bears or is it Berenstein Bears? I was actually excited when I saw the trailer for RE4 remake. The only thing I was thinking in my mind is, where did everybody go? Bingo. I was like, ah, he's not gonna say it because he's serious now. He's
Yeah,
seriously,
it's dark and
yeah.
moody.
No, I liked how the game looked, and me playing all the most of the Resident Evils over again. I'm understanding the story more of why Leon is the way he is in 4. Now that I've played 2 and 3 and 1 in my own time, and I really enjoy it. I'm enjoying the series now more than I was before because I wasn't. I'm of course I'm a big pussy when it comes to freaking still play the game because I enjoy it. So after like I would say maybe like 2-3 hours, I'll probably get over my fear of the game, and then I'll get scared again and continue playing the game.
No, I'm excited. I liked 4, and I hope it still kind of like does some of the campiness that it had in part 4, and like not necessarily goofy, but just the ridiculousness of some of the like crazy monsters and acting and
Can I say one
portrayals.
thing?
Yeah.
You know they showed one bit of gameplay and you won't notice the scene when it was when he was walking and it was a specific hill he was walking down. Did I notice? I was like,
Is
that's
that
the
like
fucking
as you're
boulder.
walking towards the village in the beginning?
No. It's a little after. It's he's walking and then it looks like there's a shack on his left and he's walking straight. It's very brief. But once I saw it and I saw the steep incline, I was like, that's the fucking boulder in the beginning of the game because he still has his jacket. And I
Oh.
was, yeah, with the quick time event,
Okay.
he looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
Oh, geez.
I was
Yeah.
like,
It's flashing in my head right now, that whole quick time event. Yeah.
yeah, but that looks interesting.
Well, Kevin, now is your time.
What Street Fighter?
Street
Street Fighter
Fighter
6?
6. What'd you think?
Oh, I fucking loved it. So there was two reasons that I loved the trailer, but the gameplay to me looks different. Like it doesn't look like the old school Street Fighter. It looks more like
Yeah.
a I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't look like regular Street Fighter. It looks like something else.
I love the
Uh,
watercolor art style, like
oh my
with the
god,
moves.
I love Jamie's voice actor because it's Johnny Young Bach, the same person that does Ichigo. So once I
Ah,
heard it, I was like,
ah.
I'm gathering. The combat looks cool. Some of the characters look. Chun Li looks weird as shit. I'm not gonna lie.
It
That is
looked
the,
like they tried to make her look realistic and then just kind of gave up midway through.
it was like it was something. But Chun Li out of everybody looks weird. Ryu looks good.
Yeah.
Jamie looks good. Um, Luke looks good. And then
Ryu
you got what you
rocking the
wanted.
beard.
Ryu rocking the beard, and you got what you wanted. Ryu's not the main character.
Is he not?
It's your created character.
That's what I was thinking. So I was gonna ask you about that. Is that what it is?
No,
That's
so
audio.
Because there was like
it,
it seemed like it was a created character, and then there was a hub, kind of like Xenoverse.
yeah. So that's most. I'm guessing that's how you're gonna do the like online play and all that thing. Like like NBA 2K and like most fighting games now have like a lobby that you walk around in. So it's not just
Yeah.
you doing whatever. Like some of the lobbies they might have like an arcade machine, and then that's how you play players. Uh, yeah. Bless you again.
It's gonna have a
Uh,
story. It's gonna be a storyline. It's
yeah,
gonna be a storyline.
and the story is, I guess the main characters is, I'm guessing as of from what I've seen, is going to be Jamie and Luke, because Luke is supposed to be the main character of 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you got what you wanted. We're not going to get 17 Shoto characters, everybody shooting fireballs, 12 Kages. No, it's going to be a
I just
different
want
story.
my Akuma. I hope Akuma's in there at some point.
Yeah, he's going to be a Kuma. He's going to have like a full line beard. He's going to be to his his belly button. But I'm not gonna lie, Ryu rocking that beard, his outfit was just. I was like, oh, that's like the Street Fighter Five one. Well, why the fuck is he wearing a cape? It
Oh,
wasn't a
I didn't
cape.
notice that.
Oh, I noticed every
Mm.
when I first noticed Chun Li's forehead is kind of massive. I don't know, between 5 and 6, her forehead looked like it got bigger, and like the water art style looked amazing. The way they were like announcing the characters, oh my fucking god, I can't wait for this game to come out, to drop it in 3 days.
Mm.
I like Street Fighter, but I don't like it as much as some of the other games I do now. But I can appreciate that game is going to be gorgeous. Oh, I'm hoping the game is gorgeous, and I'm hoping it plays fun as well, because it needs a little bit of variety. But oh my god, the trailer! Oh my god, they got like the shifts, like you can do counters, like you
Yeah.
can parry. I was like, oh man, this is like Street Fighter 3. And everybody has a parry, everybody has a move, everybody has a counter to like an attack. Like you can do like Ryu has a straight punch that he turns his whole body towards you, and it's like a knockdown. And when Chun Li countered him and then did it to him, I was like, oh fuck out of here.
So we all playing this, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, Dan jump right
Dan
into the
jump.
main.
What? Raging demon.
But
Danny?
yeah, I'm hoping this game does well.
I like the fight. To me, it looked like 2 different games, which is really weird.
It looked like what?
Like 2 different games at first. Like I didn't know what
Yeah.
the fuck I was
Mm.
looking at when
Mm-hmm.
the trailer first popped up. It's just
Mm-hmm.
very
Him running
weird.
around and stuff.
Yeah, him running around and show you can a fucking garbage can or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I get that nostalgia for that, but it looked very stiff and weird. And again, it looked like a mode that's you're gonna play for the storyline a little bit, and then it's very uncalled for afterwards. If
Mm-hmm.
if it's like you said, where it's how you wait to fight people in a room, that might be a little fun because then it gives you something to do while you're waiting. Because I know that is like the Dragon Ball motif type of thing to
Mm-hmm.
do. Um, that'd be fun. Like excited for that, but again, it's like when Tekken 3 or Tekken 2, whatever, had the extra mode of you just, it was like a weird side scrolling game, and that's you're able to fight people. Like
Mortal
it's with
Kombat
this,
did that too.
yeah,
You're talking about
it's just uncalled for. More than one the Tekken games actually did it. They always had an extra
Mm-hmm.
mode in the game that was just like for fun on the side, and it's just really uncalled for. And I think that's what this is too. It's just a little busy work for the main
Do
storyline.
you do you remember Tobal number 1?
No.
It was Kevin. Do you know Tobal number one?
Tobo number one? No, you're gonna have to explain it to me.
It's
I
an
probably know about it.
old. It's an old PS1 fighting game. Danny, I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure we played this or rented it before. It was a fighting game, but then there was also a mode where it was a dungeon crawler, and then you run around like a maze of a dungeon, and you run into like enemies and fight them, kind of like brawler type style. I'm sure you played this, Danny. One of the characters was a chicken, a giant chicken man. Another one was like a robot. You don't remember this at
How do you,
all?
how do you spell it?
Small things
T
about him.
TOBAL number one, so NO1. And I'm pretty sure there was a sequel too, which I never played, but there was a sequel.
Number 2.
Tobal number 2, yeah.
I for the life of me
It
seen this
it
so
looked
many times.
it
and
looked
never played.
and maybe even played. I can't remember how it plays, but maybe it played a bit like Virtual Fighter.
Virtua Fighter had that same thing in the first part one, where you walk out to random throughout the dungeon and you attack. I remember that.
Mm.
No, the first one, I think. Maybe the second one. But it was very similar. You run forward and then find somebody and you fight them. Loads in 18 years.
Street Fighter, for some reason though, I love Street Fighter, like those fighting games. I think like I don't enjoy Tekken because I don't get the technicality, or no, I shouldn't say I don't get the technicality. I suck at the technicality, so of it. So like I can't get into it so much. But like with Street Fighter, you can still kind of enjoy yourself without having to be too technical. At least for me.
Street Fighter is more slow pace
Mm-hmm.
than I would say. Is it than Tekken? Yeah, it's a little bit more slow because it's more so like neutral heavy. Like I know like it's gonna make a lot of weird sense. Well, weird sense to somebody, but it's like it's basically a ground control. That's mainly what Street Fighter is. You have projectiles, you have ways of getting in, and this and the third. But it's 2D, so it's like the same spec of Mortal Kombat. That Mortal Kombat is slow paced because you can't do as Mortal Kombat now you can just straight up run to people, but in Street Fighter you have to dash forward or you can jump and avoid things. But those are your only two options: to dash forward or jump.
Yeah.
And most of those options is bad. Well, in certain situations those options are bad. But it looks. I can always say that Street Fighter always either looks really freaking goofy or really fucking amazing. Like Street Fighter 4, absolutely goofy. Does not matter how many times you watch Ryu uppercut somebody, it's the reaction that their face gives that I always loved watching somebody. And that's what made me interested in watching Street Fighter. And then some characters are really cool as well. But yeah, Street Fighter is a good fighting game in its own right. Like Tekken is its own good fighting game in its own right. Yeah, I want to knock you. I'm actually looking forward to play Street Fighter 5, and I'm gonna play it on P5 because I'm not gonna play it on P4.
Street Fighter 6 or Street Fighter 5?
Oh, Street Fighter 6. My fault.
Okay.
I forgot. No, that's I'm gonna play Street Fighter on the PS5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna play that, and I'm gonna hope for the loading time isn't crazy.
You'll be happy, dude. You'll be so happy.
I'm already happy with the Switch, but it's good.
So I got one more, last but not least, unless there's anything else worth mentioning. Final Fantasy 16. It's about fucking time. They showed something for Final Fantasy 16, and this shit, it looked amazing, and I was also confused at the same time because this was like, it looked like it was like an amalgamation of Stranger in Paradise and Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy 13.
Style.
Like it was weird, but it looked good. It was a lot of fast-paced action, good graphics, but there was a lot going on.
Bro, I'm gonna go first. I was watching this trailer and did not understand what the fuck I was watching to the end. Then it said Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, who the fuck is Infra? And then I saw Infra and I was like, is he?
Yeah, I feel like this is like the origins of like the summons, like how they came to be.
It's really
Hold
like
on.
summon heavy on this.
Yeah,
Like you're really
Mm-hmm.
drawing their power. You need to collect their power, and you're one with them type of fucking thing.
yeah. The thing I noticed about the I don't know if it was the king or the ruler, and he was like, "Oh, our kingdom would like survive regardless or whatever." You know, he looks like the fucking he looks like Noctis's dad in Final Fantasy 15,
I
and I
was
was like,
thinking the
what?
same thing.
I was like, "There's no way that this shit is related." I was like,
Yeah.
"There's no way that like this is directly related," and I was like
No.
tripping.
Yeah.
I was like, "No."
It's just
I was
the
like, "I
art
need to look."
style. That's pretty much like they have very specific art style, and I guess they kind of just stuck with it after 15 too.
No, if he no, I was talking about the ruler. That's who I was talking
Yeah.
about. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way that he looks that it's like that happens to be a coincidence. I'm jacking that right now.
No, I'm sure it is just a coincidence because like I used to be very confused like when you look at the Dragon Quest games versus Dragon Ball, like, and it's made by the same artist, so it's like you're playing a Dragon Ball game, or sorry, you're playing a Dragon Quest game with Dragon Ball characters because it's the same artist, it's the same style, and it was weird to look at first, but now I'm used to it. So I assume it's kind of the same deal with 16.
if if his the king's name is Lucis Callum, you owe me $5.
Lucis.
Yeah, yeah, it's because it's Noctis Lucis Callum.
Lucis.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looked very confusing. The summon battle was like was confusing to me, like the most baffling part because there's things happening, but it looks like a cinematic. But then it's like they're getting like 300,000 damage, and I'm like, what is happening? What like is this tactics?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this summoning here? Like Titan punching ice, but then only punching one ice cube and destroying all of them. I was like, that's not how physics work, unless it's magic. Oh yeah, no, it was a beautiful train wreck. I can tell you that.
Yeah, yeah, it was fun to watch.
It was.
Danny, what about you?
I mean, I love the actor. Looks awesome. I'm excited to see what. I'm excited to feel how the gameplay looks.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? To actually play the
Looks
game.
or how it plays, how it
No,
actually
how it
plays?
plays. Because Stranger Paradise is a little bit disappointing. It's a fun action beat 'em up game, but
Mhm.
it's not. It doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game, you know.
Yeah.
And I
Hold
said
on,
the thing that would make this
hold on.
game fun is
It,
if it had um a good story. You know, like if it had actual story, you could actually roam around and do all that. And that's what this seems like. This seems like they're taking the best of what Stranger Paradise kind of has, and then amping it up with a great storyline. Because ultimately, the storyline is going to be fun. It might be confusing as shit, but it's still going to be fun. You
sober,
know.
take a shot. Take a shot.
Final Fantasy, yeah. I,
So
I hope it doesn't revolve because a lot of Final Fantasy games have a habit of focusing on politics before it starts to go crazy and off the rails with the monsters and supernatural stuff. So I really hope it doesn't like focus on like the politics of the royal family and shit like that. Like in that
yeah,
sense, you know what I mean? I want it to be monsters and sorcerers and evil people and crystals and all that shit.
yeah, me too.
I'm
And it feels like it is more. I don't know how much politics it is, but it feels like it is more about the summons. You know, and
Hmm.
to
oh
gathering the summons and all that stuff to defeat an evil or whatever it is, because they haven't actually shown what the real bad guys. Really,
yeah, but my the only thing I would say is isn't like a monarchy like something that would involve politics in a way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Like it's
Well, so a lot of the Final Fantasy games they have this habit of, and again, usually in the beginning of it, for the most part, is that there's always like these two warring kingdoms, and then like
mm,
one of them is a bad one, and one other one's a good one. It's like the Fire Nation and the Earth Nation, or whatever it is. Like it's just, and then like there's this mess, and then there's like a MacGuffin involved, and that MacGuffin is something that your main character has to search for in order to save the world, and like I'm sick of that cliche stuff. So like 15 was a bit unique because it focused a bit on like the backstory of the summons and stuff like that.
mhm.
And of course you get to travel around and get to know these characters. different senses, and I hope they do the same thing with that. So I don't want I just don't want like a bunch of like Game of Thrones type of like politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I would hope that it just does the same thing like Final Fantasy, like the politics is like a small part of it, but not the entire story, and then you get to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the character's journey to his destination, or the journey, not the destination.
Not a Final Fantasy.
Not a Final Fantasy.
All right.
Oh, can I mention?
Yeah.
Can I mention another game?
Uh huh.
Do we have time? Tunic.
What what was the release for Tunic? Was it just the PlayStation
Just that it's
5
coming out on the
release?
PlayStation. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that I thought that's what I understood because I've been playing Tunic already on Xbox Game Pass.
yeah. Oh, I just saw it and I was like, oh wait, we talked about this game.
So
Let me mention it.
I know you guys don't have an Xbox. So are you guys looking forward to this? Because I'm telling you, this game is really good. It is a Zelda clone with its own identity. It's very well done.
You can't say it's a Zelda clone with its own identity. That should be plagiarism.
Well, it's I mean it's very much influenced by Zelda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was about to hit you with the yo, don't copy my homework.
Because the funny thing about this is like there's no dialogue, and there's even no like English text for that matter, or barely any, I should say, because everything that you read is in like some weird language, so you have to like find some way to decipher it in your own way, almost like learning an actual language. But there are these pieces of paper that you can like collect, and these pieces of paper look like the old school Nintendo game manuals that you would get as a kid, and they have instructions of like how to play the game, how to interpret this, where to go next, where you can find these little secrets and stuff like that. So it looks like a legit like page like ripped out of a Nintendo game manual. And I thought that brought a bit of the charm to the game as well.
Yeah, I saw the release date for it, and I think it's September this year. If I'm not mistaken. They're going to
September
release on all the
27th.
yeah, on all these other consoles, and I was like, man, that looks interesting. I'll definitely try it. Because I remember you talking about it, and I was like, let me just watch this one, and it'll probably be interesting.
Yeah.
I seen it, and
it's
it
hard.
really good.
It's hard too. It's no joke. Like you die, you lose your stuff, and you respawn somewhere else. So it's that Dark Souls-ish in that sense.
Dan, I just bought Dark Souls 1, and I played it like 2 hours. And I already lost 10K. I don't want to hear about losing money.
Oh, you will. You will. In the beginning of the game when I'm still exploring, because mind you, like they don't tell you where to go. They literally put you on that island, and they just let you go. Like they don't tell you nothing. And I'm wandering around, and I got jumped by like these 4 giant spiders that I barely did any damage to, and I just died instantly. Like and that's what you'll find yourself in. Like you'll find yourself in those type of situations every now and then.
You know what scares me about Tunic and me not playing the game but watching gameplay of it? It's one of those games that you don't know if it has an invisible wall or if it doesn't. If it does or doesn't have an invisible wall.
Yeah.
So I was watching him climb the steps and I was like, oh, I would be terrified. I don't know if I can walk off the ledge. And then if you do, you're just like, well, that's it. Going back.
Yeah. Danny, you're not interested in this at all?
Tunic?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, is it on the Switch?
Yeah, it's coming for Switch.
It's coming out for Switch?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Hmm.
I might play it on the Switch because it looks like a game like that. I will have fun on the Switch or my whatever, but a big console, I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't have time for something like that. Yeah, that's it.
I don't see it here for Switch. This
Like,
Xbox One, Series X, Series S, Windows, PlayStation 4 and 5. I don't see it.
Yeah, guess not. You'll look again, that would be. You know, you can't have a game like that for Switch if you think about it, though. It's like, hey, why do we have 2 Zelda games?
Hey, yo, who the fuck is this guy with like his mask? Yeah, no. It's a timed exclusive on Xbox. Microsoft is so cute.
Yes, I see here. It's currently not available for Nintendo Switch. Okay, yeah, it's not out yet. yet.
Oh.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe some point. All right, so let's end the show here right now.
There's one more game that looked really cool. You
What?
guys didn't talk about the Eternal whatever. What was it?
Oh,
Eternites.
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 I have no idea what
Like a
that is.
fun. You didn't do your
Oh
research.
my
You
god,
just,
you didn't
need
watch.
to look
You
at the
didn't,
player. It looked like a weird, crazy fucking anime hack and slash
you saw-
RPG game. Like it had like it was very anime like themed. You know, the guy's fucking arm growing and
bro, bro, first of all, the first 3 seconds of that fucking trailer with the man's getting his arms just sliced off. I'm like, what the
yeah.
fuck are we watching? What the fuck
I
are we
completely
watching?
missed this one.
Yeah, nah, that one that's the reason why I wanted to watch the entire state of play because I was about to like half-ass it, but that game made me interested.
And it looked good, but it looked fun. You know,
It
it
looked-
looks
it
like
looked- yeah,
it, it reminded me like it kind of came out of it looked like it comes out of nowhere the same way that fuck, what was the name of that fucking robot game for Square Enix?
Its
With
art
like,
style reminds me a lot like Catherine.
mm-hmm.
yeah. It is like a fun like game that's just a little bit out of its norm. You know,
It definitely looks like something to catch my attention for maybe like 14 to like 18 hours. I'm gonna drown myself in that game.
I'm always
But
iffy about these anime type games because sometimes
maybe a hit or miss.
it could be a hit or miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, the action looks pretty cool actually.
When he was doing like that multi attack, like, and it was like it kept saying press square, like he was going crazy. Like he was going super fast to the point that I couldn't even see him anymore. And I was like, oh man, this combat looks insane. But then I was like, what is the story like?
Yeah.
That's important. And then you could play with like it was showing like different perspectives from like different characters, and I was just like, all right, I'll definitely try it. I'll give it a whirl. I like my anime games. I'm a big fan of them.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll end it here. Thank you guys for joining us, everybody in chat, everybody audio listening right now. Don't forget to check out gamerguardians.net for our previous episodes as well as game reviews that I do for the Coalition. You guys can check that out on the website as well. I also have links to Boneless Bones, Kevin's Twitch and Twitter. If you guys are interested in hitting him up and checking out his streams, you guys can check that out as well on the About Us section of the website. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys joining us again, and we'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
Bye-bye.